Hi everyone, this is Dr. S. Sasikumar, HOD, the PG and Research Department of Management Studies, Secretariat College Autonomous, Tirupati. Today, I am happy to share few insights on MBA255T International Business Management. The topic is Theory of Mercantilism. Mercantilism is one of the earliest theories of international trade that was popular between the 16th and 18th century. It was based on the idea that wealth equals power and a country's strength depended on how much gold and silver it possesses. Nations aimed to increase their wealth by exporting more goods and importing fewer goods, thereby maintaining a trade surplus. Mercantilism also encouraged the use of colonies, where countries like Britain obtained raw materials at lower cost and sold finished goods at the higher prices. Governments played an active role by imposing tariffs, restricting imports, and supporting domestic industries. A practice known as protectionism. Although mercantilism helped increases export and strengthen national economies by exploiting colonies and created unequal trade relationships. Economists like Adam Smith and David Ricardo later criticized this theory, and outcome of this criticism, they introduced a modern theory concept called theory of absolute advantage. The theory of absolute advantage was developed by the great economist Adam Smith, who is considered as the father of modern economics. According to this theory, a country has an absolute advantage when it can produce their goods using fewer resources or at a lower cost than another country. Here, Adam Smith argued that countries should specialize in producing goods in which they are most efficient and trade with other nations for the rest. Here, I would like to explain with an example. If India can produce wheat more efficiently and China can produce cloth more efficiently, both countries should specialize in these goods and trade with each other. This leads to mutual benefit. Adam Smith supports the concept of laissez-faire, which means minimal government intervention in economic activities, and introduced the idea of invisible hand, where individuals pursuing their self-interest indirectly benefit the society. Next, I would like to speak about David Ricardo's theory of comparative advantage. The theory of comparative advantage, developed by David Ricardo, further improved the understanding of international trade. This theory states that even if a country has an absolute advantage in producing all goods, it should still specialize in goods where it has a lower opportunity cost. The opportunity cost refers to what it sacrificed to produce a particular good. For example, even if the United States is efficient in both software and agriculture, and India is less efficient overall, India may still have a comparative advantage in agriculture due to lower opportunity cost comparing to United States. Therefore, the United States should specialize in software technology while India should specialize in agriculture, and both can benefit with mutual trade. each other. However, this theory has some limitations, such as ignoring various factors like transportation cost, focusing only on labor, and oversimplifying the real world trade situation. Next, I would like to highlight on Hexker-Holland theory, which is also known as the factor endowment theory, which explains the trade based on a country's resources. It states that countries should export goods that use their abundant factors of production and import goods that use their scarce factors. Factors of production include labor, capital, land, and technology. For example, the United States has abundant capital and advanced technology. So, it specializes in producing machinery and high-tech goods. In contrast, Bangladesh has abundant labor and specializes in producing labor-intensive goods like textiles and garments. As a result, the exports capital-intensive goods and import labor-intensive goods, while Bangladesh does not have both and they does the opposite. This theory highlights how difference in resource availability shape global trade patterns. Thus, to conclude, the various theories of international trade which has evolved over time, like mercantilism focused on wealth accumulation and government control, while the other theories of absolute advantage emphasize the efficiency in production and comparative advantage highlighted the importance of opportunity cost. And the Hexker-Holland theory focused on resource availability. Modern international trade is based on cooperation, specialization, and mutual benefit rather than one-sided gain. Thus, these are the four important aspects of trade theories which I would like to highlight for today's presentation. Hope the presentation is highly satisfied and you can have a better opinion on the theory of mercantilism, theory of absolute cost advantage, the theory of comparative advantage, and the Hexker-Holland theory or the factor endowment theory, which is very much sensitized with the trade practices among various nations since 16th century to till date. And as I told, I would like to conclude that the theory of mercantilism, which is the earliest theory or earliest international trade theory, which focuses between 16th and 18th century, as the other theories are the modern theories that which explains about the absolute advantage, how one country has advantage over another country, how the resource allocation can be highly emphasized, and how the people or how the country's economy is made efficient use of this theory. And the comparative theory, just it helps to compare the efficiency of one nation in manufacturing or producing with other countries' efficiency of manufacturing or producing. And the last theory is the endowment theory, which focus much on the country's resource, how the country's resource is abundantly utilized, and how they make use or how they are mutually benefited out of this theory. Hope this today's class is highly useful for you, and thanks for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.